Okay, so then trick words that have been introduced in Unit 10 are listed here. If they have, apparently they have not taught open syllables yet, because if you've already taught open syllables, then these would be not considered trick words. These would be decodable, but apparently they have not. As mentioned earlier, they have the long vowel sounds. So for the long E sound, it's digraph EE. They want the students to trace these and say the sounds. So not the letters, but you would say that and say E. E. And then they have some areas down here where they can practice without tracing. On this, you would have them say the sounds. You would have them do A, K, A, K. Word bank, fill in the blank. So where they would read, that kid seems mad. Fold it over. They do it from sounds. E, Z. And they can check to make sure they spelled it correctly. If they need to trace it, I mean not trace it, but copy it rather than hide it, then you can certainly do that. One word with two pictures. They read the word, and then they decide where it belongs. So B. They write it from sounds, B, E. And they would check it and go to the next one. Answering yes/no questions. Can a tree sing a song? No. And they would just write the answers yes or no in the blanks. This page, they are intended to copy the trick word that you want them to do on the left side. So you would have it on the board or a piece of paper next to them. So maybe they would have there, and then they would write it here by copying it. Write the word me here by copying it, whatever trick word you choose. Then they would fold it in half, and then they would write it on the other side from memory, and they can check them. This page has what I think call minimal pairs, which just means they differ by just one thing, in this case the silent magnetic E. So then they would just circle whichever word goes with the particular picture. In this page, you give them one of these words out loud. You might say cane. They say cane, and then they would write it. K-A-N. Again, saying the sounds as they write it. It's very important. And then they can check to make sure they spelled it correctly. A take-home page with all of the long vowel sounds that have been taught at this point gives parents ideas of things that they can do with these. They have a lot of vocabulary pages, and this is from one of the stories. I believe most, if not all of them, are from the stories or the readers that go along with this unit. And then they would just rewrite the word, and then they would draw a picture of what a skiff is. Here's another example. I like this one because it is a multiple meaning word, which means it could be like a cow, a male cow, or it could be what you do with the car. You steer it. So making those connections with multiple meaning words is really important for establishing a good depth of vocabulary. They see what the picture is, read the words, and then circle the one that goes with the word. This page, they count the sounds in the word. So S, M, I, O. They would write 4 in there. If they can, fold it, have them do it from sounds. S, M, I, O. If not, they can just copy it. They read both phrases, determine which one is the best fit for the picture, and put a check mark or color in the bubble. Draw a line from the word to the correct picture. Similar to what you saw earlier, but just with phrases. You read the phrase, and I would use an object rather than have them circle it, because then you can reuse this page. So the first time I might say, a red frame, he runs in, past the cane, the bikes, and then later on we can do it again with different words or different phrases. After they've read this particular story, then they would cut these out, their word sentences from the story. Then they put them in the order of which one happened first. You would put it here, glue it there, and then they can illustrate the sentence. Whichever one happened second can be glued in there, and then they illustrate that page as well, or that sentence. An encoding or spelling activity related to the new concept. So the first one, you might have the word cute, K-U-T, and then they fill in that silent E, versus the word cut or cat, whatever word you want to put there. They read the word, determine whether it goes in the short vowel column or the long vowel column. So You can say spin, hide it, I can check to make sure it's correct, cross it off, and read the next one. So then spine would have the long vowel sound, so it would go in this column. Final page from the workbook before we go over the reader and the assessment. Just has to do with the trick words that have been introduced. You could have them trace it. You wouldn't have them to say the sounds because the sounds don't match. T-H-E-Y, T-H-E-Y, T-H-E-Y. You want to make it more challenging. The third time, don't let them look at it. They can do it from memory. This is the same activity. It just has them tracing it one time and writing it on their own twice. Okay, now we're at the readers or the decodables associated with this unit. The title of the book is called Scott. I guess you could think of these as different chapters in the book. So here are all of the chapters real quickly. Scott and Lee with the comprehension questions. Red ants. You can tell I printed 2 pages of the reader on one piece of paper, just save paper and ink. Comprehension questions. The bees. Cake and grapes. Fun in the sand. Skates. A fine hike. The bike ride. The plane ride. The gift. The sled ride. Scott's snack stand. In the pet shop. Scott bakes a cake. The cave. The skiff ride. Lunch trades. Mike's tail. Green Grove Glade. The boss. And finally, the King of Kites. The end of the year summary for unit or for kindergarten is Unit 10, and this is where you would fill out this information. You would recommend their placement for next year. And the bottom of this sheet has 26.1 is decodable word reading, 26.2 tricky word reading, and so on. If you look on 27.5, it says if needed, you would administer that. Then these 2 parts of the assessment are not supposed to be factored into your end of year student performance task assessments, but they're optional. A second page of this recording sheet, you would put their missed tricky words, the missed spellings from that, and if needed, the missed sounds from 27.1. I feel like this might be a typo. It says worksheet 26.1 is the decodable word reading score. 26.1 does consist of decodable words. Then on here it says the missed tricky words from worksheet 26.1. When if you look, the tricky words are on 26.2, which also correlates with this first page. 26.2 are the tricky words. So presumably on this page, 26.1, you would give them, I would say shop, expect them to circle the word shop, mash, expect them to circle the word mash. Here is the second page of the decodable words and what that looks like. These are the trick words that you would check to see if they know. That also has 2 pages worth. Again, another typo. I'm not sure since I don't do the curriculum, but this says worksheet 27.5 if needed. The only 27.5 that I found was this, which is one of the stories from the Decodables. But it looks like to me it correlates with 27.6. And again, this is optional, but there are 35 items here, and this one has 35. So it says individually administered letter sounds score. So I would give them, write the sound, right? What makes right? What letter makes the t sound, etc. And then you can do that if you so choose. Again, that's optional to give. So 27.1 is not optional, and it says the sound writing score out of 15. So on here, I would give these to the student. And again, not doing the curriculum, the way I would use this is give them the trickier sounds. So I would say, okay, what makes the sound? And they might do A. And then I would say what makes the E sound, expecting them to write digraph E. So I would do the long vowel sounds because they're relatively new. I would also do the digraphs, what makes the ch sound, the th sound. And I would do any tricky, I'd probably honestly do the short vowel sounds if I have enough room, because I want to make sure they know those super solidly. And you can also just do trickier consonants. So QU can be trickier for kids, W, Y, whatever might be trickier for your student might be a good thing to include in this. Optional would be writing the lowercase letters, so give them a piece of paper or whiteboard or however you want to do it and give them a letter to write and see how their handwriting is. And if they write the letter T, they write the letter T. Another optional one is the uppercase letter names, which is 28.2. There's 28.1 where they could write the letters that you give them. And 28.2 says uppercase. So there are 26 of them. And I guess you would just make sure you hit every one of them. Okay, what letters? Show me the letter W. Let's circle it. Where's the letter Y? Etc. So, nice little end of the year summary with lots of good information on 2 sheets of paper that you can give your kindergartner to see where they are. Again, this is a free resource that you can get from CKLA. See the description for a direct link.